Hello beautifuls, today's video is a little different. Something really strange came through in my dream last night, and I don't think this was a random dream at all. It showed the distorted feminine current as a theme park ride. At first it looked like a water ride, something emotional, something flowing, something that almost looked harmless. There was a family there, or what it felt like a family structure. There was a mother figure, there was a daughter, there was movement, there was water. There was the sense that everyone was being carried by the same current. But then the ride slowed down. It reached this pause point, almost like a chill out zone, like the current had stopped moving so fast for a moment in time. And then something completely changed. The water ride turned into a roller coaster. It went dark, there were neon lights, everything became faster, more mechanical, more intense, and then, right near the end, the lights came on. And when the lights came on, the whole thing looked different. It was not powerful anymore. It was not magical. It was not beautiful. It was not some grand structure. It looked flimsy. It looked empty. It looked fake. And that is the message. Something that used to carry people emotionally is now being exposed as weak structure that was never actually stable whatsoever. When I woke up, I pulled cards on the dream because I knew there was something in it. And the first card that came out was Justice. So that told me straight away that this dream was not about me being taken through something. It was about me witnessing something being taken through correction. Justice was the first card. Then the Five of Cups came out, which is grief, loss, and emotional fallout. Then the Knight of Swords, which is fast movement, pressure, acceleration, something moving quickly. Then Ten of Cups in reversed, which showed the false emotional family structure, the false comfort structure, the thing that looks like harmony on the outside, but is not actually true underneath. Then the Knight of Wands in reverse and the Eight of Wands in reverse came out. So the movement was distorted, the acceleration was distorted, the ride was moving, but the structure underneath it was not clean. That matches the dream exactly. At first, it was water, then it paused, then it became a roller coaster. That is what happens when an emotional current turns into a mechanical collapse. It starts off looking soft, it starts off looking like care, it starts off looking like family, community, emotion, support, belonging. But once the lights come on, you see the structure underneath it, and the structure underneath it is not safe. It is not stable. It is not true. There was also a part of the dream where the daughter figure looked like a spider with a human head. That stood out to me, because that is exactly how this distorted structure works. It presents as human, it presents as emotional, it presents as familiar, it presents as something you should trust, but underneath it is webbed like a spider web. It is a mechanism. It catches people. It pulls people into the current. It makes them think they are being held when they are actually being carried into something they did not consciously choose. And then the card showed the Seven of Cups. This is illusion, confusion, false options, dream distortion, things that look one way but are actually something else. So the spider image makes sense. It was not just a random dream imagery, it was showing the false emotional current in its true form, with a human face and a web underneath. That is the distorted feminine current. It looks like care, it looks like empathy, it looks like comfort. But when the lights come on, you see the web. Then the Two of Pentacles came out. That showed the structure trying to balance two states at once: water and machinery, emotion and control, comfort and collapse, softness and pressure. That is what the field has been doing for a long time. It has been trying to look like emotional care while operating like a machine. And then the Seven of Wands in reverse, Five of Pentacles in reverse, and the Six of Cups in reverse came out. So the defense is weakened. The lack line is being exposed. The old familiar emotional loop is breaking down. This is why the dream ended the way it did. Because by the end, the lights came on. And when the lights came on, the roller coaster did not look strong. It looked weak, frail. It looked like a structure that only seemed powerful while it was hidden in darkness. That is the whole point. A lot of these structures only look powerful when they are not being seen clearly. They only look convincing when people are emotionally inside the ride. When you are in the current, you think the current is real. When you are in the dark, you think the structure is bigger than it really is. When the lights are off, the illusion can feel massive. But once the lights come on, everything changes. You see the wires, you see the frame, you see the emptiness around it. You see that what was carrying people was not actually divine, not actually stable, and not actually true. It was just a structure, and it was flimsy. The bottom of the deck was the Three of Swords and the Tower. That is the engine underneath the dream. Pain and collapse. Not soft healing, not gentle transition. Pain and collapse. The heartbreak underneath is the false emotional structure. The heartbreak underneath the false emotional structure is being exposed, and the Tower is already active. The top of the deck was the Chariot in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. That says the visible surface of the dream was distorted movement through the distorted emotional current. The ride itself was the Chariot in reverse. It looked like it was carrying people somewhere, but it was not sovereign movement. It was a false vehicle. And Queen of Cups in reverse is the distorted feminine emotional current running the atmosphere. So this dream was not random. It was showing the distorted feminine current being taken through justice. It begins as an emotional family structure. It slows down into pause. Then it accelerates into something darker, faster, and more mechanical. And then the lights come on. And once the lights come on, the whole thing is exposed. The ride was not what people thought it was. The structure was not strong. The current was not safe. The emotional comfort was not true. And the thing that looked powerful in the dark looked completely different once it was seen clearly. That is what's happening right now. This is not about helping the collective through it. This is not about carrying people through the collapse. This is about witnessing what the structure actually is. The false emotional current is being exposed. The lights are coming on. And once the lights are fully on, people cannot pretend the ride was safe anymore. They cannot pretend the structure was stable. They cannot pretend the comfort was real. Because what is being shown now is the frame underneath the illusion.